That's way better angle, I think. Even more so. Now we're looking at us. He's looking at you, kid.
All right, let's do this.
Let's do this. Ready to go beyond?
Is that something?
Bam!
Too close when it's here.
You good?
Yeah, I think.
All right, start it off.
Hello, I'm Justin Franson here at the Cohn Health Institute in Costa Mesa, California, with the founder of it, Dr. Howard Cohn. He is a doctor of chiropractic, a legend in the health and wellness space, electric as it gets with muscle testing and connecting people, clearing them mental, emotionally, chemically, and structurally instantly. I mean, he's been here how many years?
27 years.
27 years, one of the longest standing wellness centers in Orange County. And he has a wellness class every Wednesday night to show people what they do. Doesn't charge them. Every Wednesday night for 27 years, he's at a wellness class and he just introduces what he does and people are blown away and they bring in their kids. It's a free assessment for the kids. This guy has one of the most amazing practices. And so, you know, we're so blessed to have you here talking with us. Now, let me backtrack even more. We're the hosts of the Go Beyond Summit. And so now it's our turn to interview each other. And so we're gonna get to talk to Dr. Howard Cohn and get some warm fuzzies. I gotta bring him back to when he started and how he got really involved in being a chiropractor and becoming, as successful as he has become. And then, of course, talk about his clinic here, what they do, how they do it, and then we're going to talk about 7.2. And if you haven't heard of 7.2, it's going to be something, just go click on the link and go buy Recovery right now. It'll change your life, period. It's hydrogen gas, it's not anything, chemicals or any of that other stuff in it. It just absolutely changes your life. So anyhow, you ready to get started and talk about this?
Let's do it.
Okay.
Where do you want to start?
You know what? Tell us about how'd you become a chiro? I mean, I know you play hockey. I know your sister is at ESPN and the sports broadcaster Linda Cohn, run more sports centers. You guys, have a lineage of success in your family and a really high achieving, and you're athletes as well. How'd you get into the treating the side and working with the body?
Well, Justin, I grew up in a family. My mom was a nurse, and for whatever reason, would always refer to me to her friends as my son, the doctor. Kind of had no choice other than that. It was kind of programmed in from a very young age. The problem was, though, my introduction to what a doctor was didn't really resonate energetically with me because I never really saw the miracles happen that I thought were happening. I saw them on TV with all TV shows where people go into an ER, this magic happens, and it was good television. I didn't see it as much in real life. And when I actually was looking at becoming a doctor, in the beginning, we had a little project where we had to go interview 10 MDs and ask them a battery of different questions about their profession. And the shocking part was one of the questions was, I don't know why I was there, but thank God it was, if you could do it all over again, would you still be a doctor? And believe it or not, 10 out of 10 said no. Now, that might have just been a bad day for those 10. It might have just been coincidence. But I took it as a message like, wow, there's, it's kind of a brutal statement, but one of my heroes in chiropractic, Fred Barge, always had the statement, which was, even rats know when to get off a sinking ship. Meaning, like, as a paradigm for emergency care, it's the most brilliant in the world. If I was burned, if God forbid, in a car accident where my arm's hanging off by an artery, not interested in what nutritional product to take at that moment, getting adjusted, getting stretched, doing all the beautiful things that you learn and see in the summit. I want to be in front of the best surgeon yesterday. But after that, rehab, wellness, next level, going from good to great, actually creating health because health doesn't come in a prescription bottle. Health does not come at the end of a scalpel. Health comes from the inside out. Okay, so that was my first wake-up call. Taking it all the way back, you know, I just thought health was what we all do, whatever our parents show us. So in the cabinet in our bathroom, there was this magic medicine cabinet, because the medicine cabinet, why? So that's all it's filled with. So you open it up, and 5 rows of pharmaceuticals for every little symptom somebody had. Never really creating health or wellness, but just working on whatever the symptom was of the day. And my oldest sister, Eileen, told me that I was destined to be in this field because somehow I found a bottle of Flintstone vitamins. Now, if you were born after the 80s, you may not even know what that is. But there was this cartoon called Flintstones. And so in any event, most people will know. There was a retro comeback of that movie again. But I proceeded to somehow intuitively know that that was the closest thing we had in our house to health. So I ate the whole bottle. Now, these are not good vitamins. So I had to go to the hospital and get my stomach pumped. So Fred and Barney and, you know, Dino. So, and Wilma. So I knew, and my sister said, I knew you were going to be in this field. So anyway, it was definitely convoluted. Fast forward, after I did that, about the same time when I did that, you know, interview the 10 doctor thing, they had a career day in my school back in Long Island, New York City, in New York. And there was a chiropractor that came to that career day. And this was the epic moment that set me on this path. And to this day, I still don't know if that chiropractor knows what he did. But, you know, the B.J. Palmer, who was credited as the developer or the person who spread chiropractic around the world after his father created it, said that, you know, you never know how far-reaching something you may do or say will have on somebody. Just that one moment. So it's always better to light a candle than curse the darkness. So this guy lit a candle that day. He came into that class, and I had never seen anybody more excited about what they did in their life. I had no idea what a chiropractor was. I had no idea what they did. I had no concept of it. It would be like learning a language I never knew or hearing the words for the first time. But this guy got in front of that room and told everybody that he would, not only would he do what he did if he didn't get paid, but he would actually pay to do what he did. And up until then, my dad was an accountant, my mom worked, and they didn't necessarily hate it, but they never loved it. Anyone in my neighborhood, they had jobs. Nobody loved what they do. Nobody got up in the morning excited about what they did. Nobody felt that they were making such a difference that they couldn't stop doing it. And I watched this guy, you know, talk about what he did, and I also watched him create a consciousness. So he told this story, and I'll retell it as much as I remember it. It was a long time ago, since I was 16. That's when he did. But he walked in this class of 60-year-olds, no one's paying attention. You know, we just came off from the Dunkin' Donuts guy who brought donuts, so that didn't really help. And I went twice so I could eat extra donuts. And there was this chiropractor. So we're in this little class, no one's paying attention. They're just happy to be out of their school. And this guy gets in front of the room, and he sees that no one's paying attention to him. And he points to a spot on his face, and he says, "You see this? This is a zit." This is the first words out of this guy's mouth in his health lecture. And he goes, "When I went to bed," and so forth. And so that got everyone's attention, though. Because they're like, "Who's this crazy guy?" And like everyone's looking, I don't know if I even see a zit. What's he talking about? So he goes, "When I went to bed last night, this zit was not there. And I got up this morning, and I saw this zit. And I thought to myself, oh, crap. I got this huge zit." And the guy spent the next 3 minutes embellishing this one zit. "Oh, my day's going to suck. I don't even want to go into my office. I don't want to go outside. I have a date tonight. I'm probably going to cancel it. My whole day is awful. If I go treat a patient, lean over, they think it's going to ooze on them. It's a white hand and it's pussy." And he really spent 3 minutes just making everybody nauseated to want to throw their donuts up about this one zit. And he said, and he goes, "Then I thought to myself, wait a second. You guys have never seen me before. All you see is this one guy with one zit." He goes, "I could have just as easily been." This guy had this whole tremendous acne vulgaris condition his whole life. From the time he was 13 or the time he was born, he had zits on top of zits. And he spent 5 minutes going over this. "I had zits on my toes, zits on my elbows, zits on my chin, zits on my zits, blackheads, whiteheads, redheads, all of them. Just, I never left the house. I'd never been on a date. I never did anything." And then one day I went to sleep years later, and I get up and all of my zits are gone except this one. How do you think I'd feel? Jacked out of my mind. I'm going out. I'm running in the streets naked. I'm freaking calling girls. I'm making dates, doing all this stuff. He spent another couple minutes talking about how exciting his life is. And he goes, I'm that same guy. You've never seen me before. All you see is one guy with one zit. That's why every day when I get up, I'm that guy who had all those zits and now has only one. So I'm sitting there. Most of these kids are still looking, these 6-year-olds going, can we get out of here, go back to the Dunkin' Donuts guy, because this guy is crazy. So I looked at this guy and I'm like, holy, you know what? I had never seen anybody like this. I had never seen anybody with this kind of attitude. I didn't know that kind of attitude was existing. I was just around miserable people in New York. And I said, I went home that day, I told my parents, I have no idea what a chiropractor does, but I'm going to be one. I'm going to be one. And I went to go visit this guy. Actually, before I called him up, I said, hi, Mark, having a wonderful day. Who's this? I'm like, this guy's happy all the time. Called me afternoon, figured his blood sugar's low, he's angry from the day. No, hi, Mark, having a wonderful day. Who's this? So I went down to see him. I have no concept of chiropractic, but these people came in, they're like this. They see him, they just like perk up. They give him a hug, they lie on this table, he does something to him. Sounds happen, like these cracking sounds. I'm like, oh crap, is that person all right? And they get up, and they look like $1 million. They hug the guy, and they drop off a check, and I'm like, holy, what is this? Is this legal? This is the most amazing thing I've ever seen. And that started the whole thing off, dude. There it is.
What a great story. How fun.
Yeah.
I mean, just looking at the positive things, how much people change your life, and knowing that you wanted that in your life, that's fantastic.
I was looking for something, man. I was like kindling, looking to get lit up by something. I just knew intuitively that there was something out there. And, you know, my mentors always tell me there's no greater feeling you'll ever have than someone else's life being better because you have an influence on it. You know what we do every day? Listen, that's why we're doing this summit. I mean, we're exposing to the world people that do this every day, and they have their own little tribes, or in many cases, huge tribes. But we're all out there on different islands doing this different stuff, and you know, your brainchild idea to put it all together, get these communities to cross-pollinate, people know about people, strength in numbers, really, because you know, people go to bed every night, millions of people taking a knee in prayer, hoping someone, somewhere is going to share with them something that could change your life. And you know, we focus on this first Go Beyond Summit on human performance, but the docs and the practitioners and the wellness providers that you see throughout the summit really spend just as much, if not more time, getting people out of wheelchairs as they do getting people to jump over hurdles they never did before. So really, that's why we're here.
Definitely. Well, if you haven't had the opportunity to come to the Cohn Health Institute, get treatments by Dr. Cohn or his entire staff, they are phenomenal. Several of his staff are speakers. When I first met Dr. Cohn, I was introduced to 7.2 a long time ago and had some stomach challenges. It helped instantly, instant flush, instant help. Met Dr. Cohn, and I have wrist injuries from tennis all these years. Literally, he didn't even touch my wrist, did a few movements, and all of a sudden I felt my wrist just shift with his arm literally going over it like this. And it's one of those aha moments when you're just like, okay, that guy's got it. He's the it factor, and he can do things that very few can do. And so just to give you my story on how we met. So talk to us, well, we'll stop there.
Okay.
Yeah. That's 10 minutes.
All right, let me go on.
That's 14 minutes.